Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye, bye. This is a good one. Let's get to that intro. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all, so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking, and I appreciate the support. I'm very humbled. You are now rocking with the gun. You gotta love it, right? So, Lucky from Hoodstocks is taking straight up, boom, 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 shots everywhere, man. And Sporty Face, Sporty from the 40s, right, has decided to jump in to the social media circus, and you know what? Let it be known exactly what time it is and call out Lucky from Hoodstocks for what Lucky said on his podcast about the African. And we're not going to say the rest of it, right? Because then I'll be the racist one. And I don't need that, man. It's his turn. It's Lucky's turn, right? It's his turn to feel the wrath of the brothers, man. You know what? And I'm not going to sit here and defend Lucky's actions whatsoever, period. I love his podcast. I love what he's trying to do in Southern California. I understand who he is and what he's all about. Okay, but at the same time, I understand the brothers are highly agitated and very upset right now, and they have every single right to be. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to make this controversial and say, damn, Gun, I thought you was going to protect the raza. Well, first and foremost, that's a fact. But wrong is wrong and right is right. And in this case, Lucky was very wrong. The things that he said, and I'm sure he's a man and he'll stand on that because that's his character and that's what he does, you know. But he's going to need to stand on that because the black community, the African-American community, the Africanos, the brothers, they are riled up right now and they are feeling some type of way about Lucky from Hoodstocks. Now, for you, those of you that have not been watching the internet lately and don't know what happened, Lucky from Hoodstocks is a very, very powerful podcaster in Southern California when it comes to the raza community. Now, at the same time, you need to understand this. Lucky himself is not a brown man. Lucky himself is actually a Russian Jewish man, okay, that happens to be in association, allegedly, with Mexicans and Mexican gangs. Okay, does that make him, does he get a pass for this? Does that make him, oh, this doesn't count for him? He's not fucking, representing the raza. Absolutely not. If you're around a whole bunch of brown people, if you're from a brown gang, man, best believe if something was to pop off between the blacks and Mexicans or the whites and Mexicans or anyone else in a Mexican, I guarantee that Valto's going to stand on what he believes in, and that's that Mexican power right around him. And that's just the facts. So Sporty Face from the 40s, who's a African-American man, has decided to call Lucky out behind what Lucky said. Okay? Now, I get it. I don't knock it. I don't hate on it. You know, I guess we're going to see where Lucky stands in the situation. If he's going to stand 10 toes down for what he said, because regardless of why he said it, regardless of what he was, the point he was trying to get across, I understand he was trying to be funny. It was trying to come off as comedy, but I have a whole different theory. And I'm going to let you guys know my theory, and you tell me if it gels with what you're thinking. But he said what he said. And, of course, the line that he said was taken from the movie Boys in the Hood. And he utilized that line to basically say black person. And I know some people just laughed it off. It was like, it's not a big deal. But when it comes from a different ethnicity, brothers are going to feel some type of way, right? But also, when you have brothers running around saying beaner or the WB word or Mexican, the Mexicans are going to feel some type of way. The raza is going to feel some type of way. And there is a brother, man, that was on a podcast from Hoovers, which kind of tripped me out because I've done time with Hoovers. They were always like this with Southsiders and Mexicanos. In fact, there was one particular barrio that they were always like real close with when I was growing up in the youth authority. You know, it was crazy, right? But we'll get to that right now. Back to Lucky. He said what he said to be funny, and it wasn't funny. Not at all. But I believe this is why he said it. I believe he did it out of nervousness, and he did it to ease the situation. Now, the situation was this. He was on his podcast, surrounded by nothing but Mexicanos, nothing but Chicanos, raza, right? Felt comfortable in his studio at his podcast and was having a free conversation. He was speaking freely to a Chicana woman, loca, right? And in doing so, the whole topic about Blueface and Jenny 69, which is ridiculous and keeps coming up. So what? I don't give a fuck what race there's only one race, the human race, but what ethnicity the man is, she sat on his lap. The fact of the matter is, she's on skonka activities and she's going to do that to get a bag. I don't think race or ethnicity or culture has anything to do with it. That's a woman after one thing and one thing only, and that's to put her brand out there by any means necessary. Her brand being sexualizing herself and trying to sell herself out there so she can get money. You know, Negra from Indicted TV said it. Girl, you're fucking going ass out backwards the way you're acting. You know what I'm saying? Pobrecita. She's putting out pobrecita vibes. Look, Jenny 69 should not be involved in this conversation, but the fact is, and I don't want to disrespect the woman, the fact is she moves differently, right? And it's not a shocking thing to see her sit on a man's lap. The shocking thing was that people turned it into a racial situation because he was a black man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many brothers I done seen with Mexican chicks and how many black chicks I done seen with Mexicans. I said Mexicans, but I can do that because I'm Mexican, just like a brother can say the N-word because he's black. But if I hear a Mexican saying it, if I hear a white man saying it, I feel some type of way, and I'm not even a brother, man. I'm like, damn, bro, how disrespectful, right? Now, they were sitting down in this podcast, Lucky and Loca, and having a conversation freely, protected. The only thing is, he decided to let that conversation be aired out, whether it was live or it was pre-recorded. He just said what was on his dome. And while they were having this conversation, it seemed like he kind of put Loca in a bad, kind of put her in a bad situation. You know, I learned a long time ago when you're dealing with women, they're delicate creatures, right? There's questions you do and you don't ask them. You don't ask them, well, damn, how old are you? Yeah, they're going to feel some type of way. You're going to put them on the spot, and they're not going to, that's going to fuck your whole game up. No mamons for you, right? You do not ask a woman about their body count unless they're going to the podcast for that specific reason, Jenny 69, right? And you do not ask a woman, a Mexican woman, would she or would she not be with a black person? Because what is that indicating to her? There's no right answer. If she says, right, and that's what Lucky asked her. He kind of asked her, damn, would you do that? Like what Jenny 69 did. He put Loca on the spot. And I think by asking her that, you know, there's only two answers and they're both bad. If she says, hell no, or no, I'm not going to be with the black man, right? Well, then that makes her prejudiced or racist. It seems like she just doesn't want to be with him because of the pigmentation of his skin or his culture or whatever. She's biased against what he's got going on, right? And then if she says yes, then let's be honest here. Let's not fucking lie. The raza community is going to be like, hell no, right? So she was put in a conundrum in a situation between a rock and a BBC. She didn't know what to do, right? And I think Lucky realized when he asked the question, because he was just having a conversation, damn, I put the homegirl kind of on the spot. So in order to ease the tension and kind of lighten the mood, he made reference to the movie Boys in the Hood and comedy. Now, I'm not defending his actions. It was wrong. It was totally wrong. Look, Lucky can be a number of things. He could be a great father. I'm sure he's a great friend. I'm sure he's a great businessman, having built Hoodstocks from the ground up with his own bare hands, right? I'm sure he could be a lot of good things, but that's it. A comedian? Hell no. He's the world's #1 worst comedian in America right now. He tried to be funny and wasn't nothing funny about it because now he got a whole ethnicity, a whole black community wanting to be on his head. Case in point, Sporty Face, right? Sporty Face has took to the internet and decided, like a G, man, I respect it. He didn't disrespect the raza. He did not disrespect Mexicanos. He did not disrespect. He said, man, shout out to my brown brothers, man, that rock. You know what I'm saying? He was cool about it. He pointed his finger at one and one person only and said, hey, bro, I'm going to go ahead and need that. You represent your people. I represent mine. Well, let me tell you something, Sporty Face. I hear that. I respect it. That was some gangster shit, man. You did it like a man. Didn't need to be said on the internet, though. Most definitely, because then people like myself and other podcasters and content creators would not be talking about the bullshit, right? Could have easily been said behind the scenes, I'm sure, with how much respect you have in the community that you're in, that gang lifestyle, right? Allegedly, you have you can get a hold of people's phone numbers. You know someone that knows someone. Now you could have got a hold of Adam 16, man, and he could have definitely tapped you in with the Raza community. How he knows, I fucking don't know. But somebody who gave him their fucking phone number, it's crazy, right? And this all stems from Adam. No one even really caught that. A few people might have talked about it, but no one even tripped until Adam made it a big old deal being the Raza police. He said he was going to hold the Raza accountable because the brothers were too chicken shit to do it. Well, guess what, Adam? Someday someone's going to hold you accountable. And I think you're going to be too chicken shit to be there. It just is what it is. Oh, wait up. Gil went there. That already happened. Anyways, I digress. This is all stemming from Adam. But anyways, he got Sporty Face and a bunch of the black community tripping. Gumby from Hoover's, right? A lot of the brothers are speaking out because they are starting to let what they feel out. And while we're letting what they feel, what they've always felt out, they are in turn saying the Raza feels that way. I think everybody feels that way, man. Let's be honest. Okay? That's why when I'm out here hollering black and brown, even I get accused of being a racist. Even fucking, I mean, every Mexican, every black gets accused at some point. It's just Lucky's turn. Anyway, Sporty Face decided to call him out like a man. He could have did it offline better. That would have been more gangster. But you got to respect that man. If he wants that fade, he wants that fade. Now, one thing I need to rectify, certify, and verify, and clear up, right, is that Lucky does not represent the Raza community in general. He happens to be from a Mexican gang, allegedly, right? He happens to be in a podcast where you may see a gang of Southsiders, but even some brothers, some Crips, some Bloods, and some Norte thugs. You'll never see a Norteño on there, I'm sure. Not because he won't allow it, because of politics and things of that nature. One never knows, maybe in the future. But I've always seen Lucky as the type of individual that lets people speak, listens to the stories, gives his input at a minimum, smart, and just kind of does his thing. He's not very disrespectful. Look, what he said he was trying to be funny, and it wasn't. Not at all, right? No defending that. Don't hold that man. Don't blame the Raza for one man's words, especially when he's not really a brown man. He's just from a brown gang. So when you're saying Mexicans feel this way, Raza feels that way, nah, we feel like, what the fuck happened? Navato don't speak for everybody. Navato's just he's a Russian dude, man. That's gay. Das vidanya, right? It's good night. See you later, right? No disrespect to Lucky or Sporty Face, but I mean, we're gonna see how Lucky responds. If he wants that fade, if he feels that it's necessary behind what he said, then he'll do that. Now, I think at this point, I hate to see violence. I get called out all the time. Let's box. Let's do this. I got this. I got that. And I'm like, come on, man. That shit ain't worth my time. That shit ain't worth my time. So I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and tell Lucky, you need to stand on and take that fade. That man is going to do whatever he chooses to do. And I'm not going to stop watching Hoodstocks because of it. Now when I watch Hoodstocks, I'm listening closer because I'm hoping that he doesn't just go all in and say some bad shit. Look, let's be honest here, man. There's also another guy who went on a podcast, man, and spoke his mind, and that's OG Gumby from Hoover. And I've seen this dude. I didn't know exactly who he was, but I've seen him on a lot of podcasts, doing his thing, speaking for his gente and his people, or speaking for himself. I like to say people speak for themselves before they speak for anyone else. Because, when they're saying good shit about you, it's all good in the hood, right? Oh, man, my hood this, my hood that, or my body this, or my body that. Everyone's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? My homeboy was giving him a moan in the alley. Hold up, bro. No, hell no. We don't get down like that. You don't speak for us. Now, he speaks for you when it's good, but when it's bad, right? I'm not saying Gumby. I'm just hypothetical, right? So, Trip, he was very disrespectful. He pretty much did the same thing or even worse than what Hoodstocks did. Look, if you're mad at that man, be mad at that man. You have every right to be mad at that man. That man said something stupid, man. I'm not saying he's a stupid person, but he had stupid timing and said a stupid thing that could be misconstrued or utilized as a racial statement to a community, man, that we're trying to help each other, right? We need to help ourselves before we can help anyone else, but we are, because we all go through some of the same shits, right? But this man, OG Gumby, has taken it way, way, way too far. He's disrespecting Mexicans, calling them beaners and wet max and all kinds of crazy shit, right? And also at the same time, he's saying Mexican, and his theory behind that word was a little outlandish and crazy. Mexicans are the ones that don't speak Spanish, and Mexicans are the ones that do. Well, first of all, bro, Can you speak Swahili? Can you say Gigi di Jenawi, Mojinane, Jemasakua, Santi, Kitu? Right? Can you, are you a bad person or fake or anything other than where you are derived from because you don't speak the spoken language of your origin country, right? Or the country that, you know, you got to understand, man, when people are like, they're Mexican. Well, first of all, I could be a Californian because I was born in California, bro, from Northern California. I was actually born in Motown, Modesto, right? But my roots go back to my motherland, which is Mexico, right? And even Spain, because Spain, all Mexicans are indigenous and they got European blood from Spain, you know, Spaniard blood. So English is a European language. So everybody in America that speaks English, whether you got African roots or Mexican roots and all that shit, we're so watered down now, man. We are different. We are American for reals, right? The spoken language here is English. Yes, you're going to have a lot of Mexicans. I myself, man, I understand Spanish perfectly. I understand every word. You could talk to me in Spanish. I know exactly what you're saying, but I can't speak the shit because I don't know how to roll my shit. Just is the way it is. It wasn't like my household was a Spanish first speaking household. It wasn't. My mom was a Chicana. My grandmother was a Chicana. My great-grandmother was Mexicana. That's aka light-skinned tit, right? But I'm still raza. I still grew up around the Mexican language. And I ain't any less Mexican, and every Mexican ain't any less Mexican in LA because they don't speak a language if they were born in the United States, man. It's the brothers don't speak an African dialect. They speak English. We all speak English because that's the language spoken here, bro. So that theory on why Mexicans are less than or they're Mexicans, you know, there's a racial thing. My thing is, you don't fight fire with fire. You don't get disrespected and then turn around and disrespect the whole race. Because albeit that dude did say something that the black community, man, should and did take offense to, everyone else didn't say that. Not everyone else feels that way. Now, I will say this. There are a lot of brown men and black men. From the heart, they speak it out the mouth. And there is a lot of racism going on. Look, man, I grew up in a household where my grandfather didn't like black people, man. Okay, I don't know why. I never asked him, but I knew it was wrong. I knew I did. I didn't have an issue, but he did. And I respected my grandfather because he was a hardworking man, a strong man, raised a good family. Instead of questioning his reasoning, I just took it for what it was, man, to each their own. I'm not going to let his racism and prejudice be a reflection of what I got going on. But then again, in his house, I'm going to go by his rules. Okay, he had rules, man. I don't want you guys to bring any gang members or any blacks here because I believe they're all fucking bad people and whatever. His rhetoric, right? I didn't. But he was a man that I respected. Not because of that. I respected because of the hard work he did and what he did to raise his children, you know, pretty much by himself. And that was what it was. But still, I got to see it firsthand at a young age, and I thought, nah, that's bad. No one had to tell me. They say, oh, teach your kids right. No one had to tell me, hey, being prejudiced or that was, you know. Look, I myself have said things that it's been taken out of context. You know, I said this black chick looked like AC Green, and all of a sudden I was racist. The bitch looked like AC Green. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with her being black. I mean, if she was white, I'd have said if she looked like motherfucking Meatloaf, I'd have said she looked like Meatloaf. I said, the bitch looked like Sam Kinison. Oi, oi, oi. Right? It doesn't matter about the race, but people always use that race card and always, oh, man, it got to be racist. It got to be racist. Look, in this case, Hoodstocks did say some bad shit, and now the brothers are feeling some type of way. But this dude, the way Sporty Face did it, respectful, nothing but respect. He called Lucky out for the fade. We are yet to see what Lucky has to say about that. But this shit keeps escalating, man. It's pitting the black and brown community against each other even worse. Right? And then this dude, OG Gumby, says that's a Sereno, not Sereno, Sereno podcast over there. Who said it was? Who said that's a Sereno podcast? Right? There might have or might not have been some Sureños that went on there to do a podcast or an interview, but who says that podcast is directly ran or organized or, you know what I'm saying, at the fucking directives of a Sureño? Because I'm telling you, man, I've been around a lot of Southsiders and I've been around a lot of Sureños, and Sureños that I've been around are not doing the camera shit. They're definitely not going to be, they're going to be in the cuts. You only see them when it's time to see them. See, that's a prison thing, man. That ain't a street thing. You got to earn that. You got to learn that, right? Anyways, this man, OG Gumby, did a lot of disrespectful shit. And did I say, when he said that, I said, that man just don't like Mexican. That man got racism in his heart. I didn't say all the blacks, man, are you know, man, he speaks for all the brothers, man, for the whole black community. No, because I know a lot of brothers, man, I can call right now that are my homies, they're my friends, and I tell them and they'll laugh at the shit. Like, damn, that motherfucker too much, oh, racist ass, right? And then that's it. Then we push and we're gonna do what we do. You know, it gets me mad when motherfuckers like, oh, you want to be like us. That's what Gumby, the Mexican community wants to be like us. You know, and then we can sit there and debate over lowriders and who started this and who started that. At the end of the day, man, you know what I'm saying? The white man started it all because we've all been subjected to fucking oppression. You know what I'm saying? If we were such a proud, tough people, we needed to fight back then, not talk shit now. That's just my thing. And I'm speaking for everybody when I say, man, you know, enough is enough. We need to stop falling into this division. What Lucky said, that motherfucker, if he gets in a fight over it, that's on him. He does not speak for the Mexican community. What Gumby said, he does not speak for the black community. He speaks for himself. He's a proud black man, I'm sure, just like Lucky's a proud Russian man. I'm not even Mexican, bro. But I get, you know, the tattoos, the gang affiliation. You know what I'm saying? That's like if a white dude's a blood or a Crip, right? Does he speak for the blacks? Nah, he'd be speaking for the blood or the Crip gang that he's from. He wouldn't be speaking for the blacks, right? Because he's not black. Well, guess what? Lucky ain't Mexican, so he can't speak for the Mexicans. I don't know. That's as easy as I can put it. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's drama. I think it's crazy. Respect to Sporty Face for doing the call out the way he did. But again, man, I think if you did it behind the scenes, less people would be speculating on the outcome. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people, man. Again, shout out to the brothers, man. Shout out to the Mexicanos, the raza. Shout out to everyone, man. Don't let one person's word dictate a whole bunch of people getting hurt. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors, man. The award-winning 2025, plaque-winning, award-winning Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California, the Central Valley. If you're ever in the area, pull up to the Barrio Liquors and tell Lali I said, ha, what's up, homie? Bang, bang.